Now joining us in studio is Kofi Annan's former Assistant Secretary General, Ambassador Tuliameni Kalomoh. Good evening, Ambassador, and thank you so much for making the time to join us.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
So much outpouring, of course, after learning of the death of Kofi Annan, but very few got the opportunity to work so closely with him. Having worked with him for so many years, how will you remember Kofi Annan?
Well, I remember Kofi Annan as a great leader. I remember Kofi Annan as a good human being, good man. And I remember him as hardworking and a man of impeccable integrity. These are the qualities by which I really define and describe Kofi Annan. And in that respect, I think that these were well described by His Excellency the President when he learned of the death of Kofi Annan this morning.
Now, taking into consideration that the late Annan was the second African to serve as the UN Secretary General after Boutros Ghali, what were some of the highs that you can recall from his tenure in office?
I worked very closely with Kofi Annan in the areas of conflict resolution in Africa. We worked in mediating the territorial dispute between Nigeria and Cameroon, and we succeeded in helping them reach an agreement, that is Cameroon and Nigeria, on the Bakassi Peninsula, and have that agreement implemented after the decision of the International Court of Justice. And this was very important because this country had earlier gone to war 3 times, and 3 times Nigeria won, but at the end, Cameroon won the legal battle. We also worked very hard in resolving in persuading foreign countries to withdraw their troops from DRC in 2002, and creating the peacekeeping, the largest peacekeeping force in the history of the world in DRC. Unfortunately, that peacekeeping force is still there. So we worked on the comprehensive peace agreement in South Sudan. We did mediate that peace agreement successfully between North Sudan and the Sudanese People's Liberation Army, SPLA. So we worked in a range of conflict areas with Kofi Annan, and I can tell you Kofi Annan is a very quiet man, very calm, but very demanding. I can tell you Kofi Annan is a hardworking individual, and he's very persuasive in his argument. Calm, always cool, and the Kofi Annan does not raise his voice. And I agree with those who really said just now on the inset that Africa has lost a giant leader. I met him July 20th in Harare. 1 month ago today, Kofi Annan was in South Africa, Johannesburg, to celebrate the centenary of Nelson Mandela's birth. You know, he is the chairman. He was the chairman of the council, a group of elders that Mandela has put together before his death. And he was in South Africa. From South Africa, he came over to Zimbabwe, to Harare, just to encourage Zimbabwe parties to respect the laws of Zimbabwe as they were preparing for the election. And he looked very good. He looked very robust. But only to wake up this morning that Kofi Annan is no more.
Now, taking into consideration that after leaving the UN hot seat, he wasn't completely off from his global responsibilities. Take us through some of the other initiatives that he took up after leaving office.
He was very busy. One of the initiatives was to create his own foundation, Kofi Annan Foundation, and was busy with Kofi Annan Peacekeeping Academy in Accra, Ghana, and he established an institution for agriculture revolution in Africa, which did a significant agricultural revolution in Cameroon and Kenya in particular. So he was very busy, very, very busy. But this month, when we met in Accra, in Harare, he invited me to his birthday on August 25 in Accra. But he was born on April 8th, but his birthday celebration was due to take place just a week from today. But unfortunately, yeah.
That, of course, will not turn up. But of course, Ambassador, thank you so much for making the time to join us and, of course, coming to share your thoughts on, and, of course, your memories on one of the great African sons of the soil.
Thank you very much. I appreciate how much the Namibian public knew about Koffi Annan and the tribute that he paid. It's very gratifying. And I believe that, I should add that Koffi Annan was a friend of Namibia. He was here in 1989, following the April 1st tragedy in 1989. When he became Secretary General in 1997, he made it a point to visit the two countries he visited first was South Africa and Namibia in that order. So he was a friend of Namibia, and yeah, we lost a great African statesman.
He certainly was. Ambassador,
thank you, Sean.
Thank you so much once again.
Appreciate it.
Well, there you have it. There was Ambassador Tuliameni Kalomoh, who worked with the late Koffi Annan at the UN headquarters in New York, talking to us on Annan's passing and sharing with us his memories of him.